Come away with me, come, let's go away to be on a new adventure for two. We can fly across the ocean or take a train together. I don't care as long as it's beside you. Take a road trip in a car, we'll get lost and go too far. While on the beaches we will watch the sunrise. And if we've done there's all to do, I'll just sit and stare into your loving face, graced with those beautiful eyes. I have fallen madly in love.
Everything that you made, the way that we brought to God, is no way possible that I would be who I am today without you. From now until God takes one of us away, there's no one else I want to be with. We married.
I can remember the day that I found out I was pregnant with Corey. That was like the best day of my life outside of the day I met Jesus. It was just awesome. It was a great pregnancy. I didn't gain a lot of weight. Actually, that pregnancy should have been an indication of what type of a child Corey was going to be. Weeks. My mom and I, we would watch Corey while he sleep. Because, you see all this stuff about babies wake up all night long and they cry. This little joker would go to bed about 9:30 and sleep all night till the next morning. I'll never forget one night I woke up and I heard crying. And this is like a mother's horror story. And I was like, where is he? Because I loved him so much, I used to just keep him asleep. He slept right up under me. He had a crib. He had all that good stuff that we spent all his money on. But I just wanted him right there next to me where I could feel him. Somehow, this little joker managed to roll over between the wall and the bed. And he was hollering. And I couldn't find him. And I thought somebody had came in the room and stole my baby. And sure enough, I saw him pull a thing. He was between the wall and the bed. And as soon as I pulled him out, he immediately stopped crying and went right back to sleep. I mean, just a perfect kid he was. We all loved him. He's just a lovable person. He's a genuine guy. I've been very blessed as a mother to have him as a son. He's been an awesome example as a brother to his brothers. He brings a lot of joy to my life, and the things that he's doing with his life right now, I can't even find the words to express as a mother how proud I am. I always tell him, even if he wasn't my son, I would love him and like him as a person. I was just blessed to have him as a son. He's met a very wonderful woman, Miss Summer Hart. A mother really could not ask for better for her child. But a part of me, as I let him go and become someone's husband and father, a part of me is really sad because we've been together for so long. Just me and Corey, I know I make it sound like I don't have other kids, but I do. But Corey and I have always shared a real bond. And I think it has to do something with your firstborn child. You both learning to be a mother. you know, and so you have this bond with him. I tell him he's my trial and error child. I learned to get it right through him. Thank God he was gracious enough to let me experiment on him and still materialize and evolve into such a spectacular man. And I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased with the choices he's made in life. He is one of the greatest men I know. I get very emotional about Cole because he's like a really cool guy. A really cool guy. I have a lot of respect for him. And I love you dearly, Corey. Dearly. He's my buddy. He's my buddy.
Summer Elizabeth Louise Marguerite Hart. She's named after my mom, as well as my sister. She is the daughter that I've dreamed of having ever since I was a little girl. I've always wanted a girl because my mother, who is now deceased, we had a very close relationship. And I just knew whenever God blessed me with a daughter, that if my relationship with my daughter could be a third of what my relationship was with my mother, I would be exceedingly happy. And God abundantly blessed me. It's greater than that. So we have a very unique, special relationship. And I say unique, and I'm sure it's no different than most mothers and daughters. Not only is she my daughter, she's my best friend. One of the things we used to do, I think about a lot, when she was growing up with her other siblings, we would have talent shows all the time. So believe it or not, she loved being in front of the camera. She loved being, even though she was quiet, once she got an audience, and she was on stage, if you will, then it was on. So she loved to sing, she loved to dance, she loved to act, and she loved to play. She has an awesome relationship with her brothers. All her brothers are tall, like their dad. But it's like when Summer speaks, it's kind of like that commercial. I think it was E.F. Hutton. When they speak, everyone listens. It's like when she speaks, her brothers look down at her and they listen. And she's looking up to them talking. So I love the relationship. I love how she values family, if you will. And one of the things that I wanted with my daughter when she developed a relationship with a young man, and I know that she was instrumental in Corey walking with the Father and giving his life to a point that he is just sold out for him, and I thank God for that. But that's what I prayed, was that I definitely want the young man in her life to be as sold out for Christ as she is and as she continued to be. So I believe in being equally yoked as far as that is concerned. I just love my daughter. When God brought her into my life after having 3 boys, at first I felt like when my youngest son was born, I thought that, okay, God, you've forgotten me. I want a girl. And I actually, with my youngest son, I thought he was a girl. When he got here, he wasn't. So when Summer came along and they said it's a girl, I didn't believe them. So it's when she was born and I realized it was a girl, I just felt like the Father himself had personally came down and just kissed me, because that's how excited I was to have a daughter. And I think that is what's so hard. I know I don't have to think that's why it's so hard to let her go. She constantly reminds me that she's not going anywhere. She's going to still be here. But, she's a young woman now, and she's getting ready to have her own family and be out on her own. And that's the hard part for me. She will continue to make good decisions in her life, because she will allow God to order her footsteps. So I'm very blessed to have a beautiful daughter named Summer Elizabeth Marguerite Hart.
the day I met Corey, we always have this confusion about the actual day that it was. I don't know if it was like Saturday or a Monday. I don't know. I feel like it was in January, sometime around like the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. And so we go to AMC 30 at Gulf Point, which was like close to our houses. And we get all dressed up and we meet up at the movies and we go to see Butterfly Effect.
We in the lobby of the movie theater, and my partner, he say, we sitting there chilling, and my partner say, hey, there go a pack of yellows, which translates to, hey, there are a pack of bright-skinned girls. A pack meaning there are a group of bright-skinned girls going into that theater. But he said, hey, there go a pack of yellows. We knew what that meant. So we looked and we saw them going to the theater.
And we enter the theater and we sit down.
So like teenage boys do, we pursued, we proud, right? So we went to the theater.
And sure enough, after about 5 minutes, a group of guys like come into the theater.
We scouted them out, you know, we was gonna all go up there. My partner was like, we can't all go up there, we're gonna scam. You know, pick one person, go up there, you know, get one, bring her back down, you know, kind of, you know, it was animalistic. You know, you separate them from the pack. It's kind of that mindset, unfortunately, right? So go get one, bring it back down.
And one comes up and he starts talking to our friend Rachel and stuff like that. And Rachel just, being who she was, you know, she was like, okay, I'll come sit with you and stuff. So we're here to celebrate her birthday. So she like abandons us and goes to sit with the guys.
It worked. So one of my partners went up, got one, brought her back down. And so he's like, okay, well, what's up with your friends? Who's who, you know, what's where? So she's like, okay, well, she's cool, she has a boyfriend, she's that, da-da-da-da-da. She's mean. Got to the girl, you know, in the center, it's like, she's mean. Don't talk to her. Don't worry. So I'm like, whoa, which one is mean?
And little do we know, like she goes down there and she's like telling them all about us. Like who's single, who's not single, like who should they talk to?
So she's like, that one's me, you know? And so I'm like, okay, what's her name? She's like, don't, trust me, don't even waste your time. She's like really mean. She's not gonna talk to you. Don't even worry about her. Talk to the one next to her though. But so when I hear she mean, you know, don't break stuff, I'm like, challenge. You know, like, okay, there's my challenge. That's my challenge for her.
So we're sitting up there, and after she goes down there, about like 5 minutes after she leaves, Corey and Tucker walk up.
So I went up. So we went up, and I've always been very polite, very nice, very cordial, you know, that whole thing.
Really, really polite. Like, you know, he was like, excuse me, miss, I know you're here with your friends. Like, you know, I hope you're having a good time, you know, but I just wanted to know, you know, if I could get your number and we can, you know, like the whole spill.
You know, for 16, you know, I'm being very nice, very polite, very cordial, you know, not getting nothing. I'm not getting it, yeah, oh yeah, that's nice. But I remember her friend already told me that's the mean one, so I'm like, okay, I expect this, you know. So eventually you know, after my whole spiel, I say, well, I don't want to bother you guys, you know, you're here, you know, having fun with your girlfriends and everything, so, you know, do you mind if I get your phone number? I think you're very cute. Do you mind if I get your phone number? So, you know, afterwards, you know, we can talk on the phone and get to know each other. She goes,
no thank you and stuff, because it was the whole night was, I was always like, you know, I was here to celebrate my friends, like not to pick up any guys or get numbers. So I was naturally just like, you know, no thank you. And as opposed from him leaving like every other guy does, like he stood there and he was like, you know, is everything okay? Does my breast stink? Am I too short? Am I too tall? Like, am I too dark? Am I not light enough? Like, he was going on and on for like an extra 10 minutes.
You know, I kind of like hugged my head, you know, and you know, I hugged my head, so Tucker kind of grabbed, so they stay here. They can still hear us and see us perfectly fine. So they hear and Tucker grabbed me and he's like, hey, listen, this is the first round. You a champ. You understand? Are you a no man? Are we no men? we not no men. This is bigger than us. This is bigger than me. This is bigger than the night. This is the world, baby. You know, he's just, you know, talking, and they're laughing. You know, they're laughing like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? And so Tucker, like, you get back in there. He's like slapping me around. He's like, you get back in there, champ. You get back in there. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3, team. And we break from the huddle. They're still right here. You know, they're laughing. We break from the huddle. I'm like, so, you know, I'm coming from this way. So I'm like, okay, let's start over. What was it? You know, and she's kind of looking like, are you serious? Like, did I just turn him? Was I just cold as could be? Turn him down. Then they went into a huddle, broke from the huddle, and came back for the second round. But part of it was, you know, I already knew she was mean. The other part was, you know, that's the whole mindset, is you're trying to get her, you know. And what I came to find out 8 + 9 years later is because that was my wife. So that's why I went back, because I wouldn't always do that, you know. Sometimes you'd be like, all right, you know. So she says, okay, how about you give me your number? So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. If I give you my number, are you gonna call me? She's like,
Probably not. You know, just being honest with him, I probably wasn't, because I never did. I never called guys when I was in high school.
I'm just like, this girl is brutal, you know. So we're there. Movie's getting ready to start now. My friend already got her other friend number. My other partners, they gone. I'm still up here working, trying to, you know what I'm saying, crank these numbers out or whatever. And so finally,
My friend Ashley Humphreys, now Robinson, she was sitting next to me, and she did something like we never did, which me and Ashley were friends since freshman year of high school, and we always went out together. And she had never, ever done this before. Like, that's how I know it was all God, because she interjects and she was like, Summer, I think you should give him your number and stuff like that. And I'm like what?
Shout out to Ashley. Thank you, Ashley. You know, you always have a place right here in my heart. You know, but you know, so Ashley says, Summer, give him your number. And so Summer like gives her this look like, are you serious? Did you just shatter the girl code and put me out there like that? You know, she's like, they didn't do that. She never said that before, never said that again, you know, give her your number. I think Ashley was working through the spirit that night. She didn't know it, but I think that was the spirit going through Ashley.
I'm like, okay, like whatever, because this guy obviously isn't going anywhere. And so I give him my number, and he's like,
I'm like, is this the right number? She's like, yeah. So she gives me her number, and you know, I tell her thank you, and I don't think we even stayed to watch the movie. We probably went back out to the lobby.
The next day, I remember we were out, me and my family were at a family friend's house, and Corey calls, and he's like, hey, this is Corey, you know, the guy from the movies last night. And I was really shocked, number one, because, you know, guys usually never call the you know, next day. They always waited those few days. And he called immediately the next day, which shows that he was like interested. And I liked that because it didn't, you know, show that he wasn't like playing games or anything. And we didn't talk long during that first conversation. I just remember the one thing that really stood out, because I thought it was really funny, was his mom had asked him to wash his car. And he was like, all right, well, I gotta go do some slave labor, which I just thought that was really funny at the time. And I don't know, it just stuck out to me. And sure enough, he told me he would call me back later, and later that night, he called me back.
Look, I love my wife, and generally, she doesn't lie. But with this story, she doesn't recall being so brutal, right? But she was mean, man. She was mean. She was sarcastic. I mean, just, you know, we'll be talking, and she's like, oh, what you doing? And I'd be like, oh, I'm doing algebra. She's like, oh, you can count? I'm like, and this is like the second day, you know, talking, and she'll say it with this little stern voice. I'm like, yeah, I can count. She's like, oh, that's good. That's good for you. That's very good for you, Corey. You know, like.
You know, a few hours later, he called me back, and we talked some more. And of course, you know, you know, he tells everybody like I was so hard on him, but from my point of view, like from that moment, from our first conversation, I really liked him. He was very charming and very sweet, and I really liked him.
After a few days, I told her, I said, well, hey, I've been calling you every day for the past few days. Really enjoyed conversation. Love talking to you. Great time. You're a great girl. You know, all of that. But I don't want to be bugging you. I don't want to bug you. So I tell you what, tomorrow you call me. All right? You call me, and then that's how I know I'm not bugging you. But if you don't call me, then I'm gonna know, okay, I've probably been bugging her. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, well, been nice knowing you. Guess I just see you when I see you. So I'm like, okay, if that's what it is, then unfortunately, okay. But you know, all right. So I come home the next day from school. First thing I get done, check the call ID. It's like maybe 3 o'clock, 3:30, whatever. Check the call ID. Nothing. 4, nothing. 5, nothing. 6, nothing. 7, nothing. I'm like, crap, this girl's not gonna call me, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's really like, that's real. So it must have been like 7:30, almost 8 o'clock or something like that. And the phone finally rang, right? And it's her. So I answer the phone, I'm like, hello? Hello? And she's like, hello? I'm like, Summer? She's like, oh, I must have called the wrong number, you know, but that's how I knew, you know what I'm saying? When she called that night, that's how I knew it's something here, you know, so I'll go through the rest of my hazing, you know what I'm saying, to make it, to cross the line, you know, and evidently it was something there. So, you know, it's amazing thinking that it was that long ago, but it was. And we're here now.
And in this crazy life, and through these crazy times, it's you. You make me sing your every line, your every word, your everything, your every song. And I sing along, 'cause you're my everything.